is the party.
Yeah.
He's the party. Without him, what is there? That was just kind of funny that I thought, and like Daisy had like the foresight to be like, go wake up Gary. And it was just like, it was kind of funny because then the party did pick up a little bit.
It did. Colin pours ice water on him and Gary's back. Yeah, you're right. Also, well, we got to talk about that dinner too. That was so weird.
The dinner at Gabby's house.
What was she doing?
I don't know. I think she was either. It's one of those things where, like, maybe I know she said she was just trying to like change the mood or something, but like when everybody's just kind of like hungover and pissed at you, just don't. Just don't. I think you just need to chill, and it didn't work out. I don't know what she was going for, but it didn't work out. And pass.
I like weird humor too. And I just don't. What was the joke there?
That it was her, that she invited everyone to her house. Like, it's not funny though.
Because she slept in a bed, it was her house. Also, yeah. John, I know Marcos and her like make up a little bit right before dinner.
Yeah.
But then, like, as they get to sit down, Gabby goes, you know what, Marcos, I actually want to sit down there because we always sit across from each other during dinner.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you're kind of ruining the makeup apology there, right?
So is she or is she preserving the makeup? Because like she knew something was, she knew if she sat across from Marcos, something was going to light her up, and like the whole truce would be off. So that's what I thought. But, you know, I could see from Marcos' perspective, he could be taking it in an insulting way, being like, she doesn't even want to sit across from me. I thought the intent was try to preserve it, but candidly, in this episode, I'm not sure what was going on with Gabby too much.
Yeah, I agree. Also, John, you mentioned Gary being the life of the party. He tries to save the dinner by having Daisy Irish step dance, and it kind of works. Great.
Yeah,
she does. Yeah.
I've said it before. I'll say it again. Daisy is invited to any party I ever go to.
No, just standing invitation. Yeah. So I think it was Kelsey pointing out, why wasn't that your talent, the talent show?
That's a great point, man. If you've got that in your back pocket, like, don't save it for a rainy day. Pull it out whenever.
Leave it. Yeah, exactly. But yeah. Also, well, maybe we'll do honorable mentions. They got a lot in Kelsey.
Yeah, Kelsey it was like one of these episodes where they're like, all right, like the producers are like, all right, push Kelsey. And every time they did, she did something weird, and they're like, never mind.
This is all we got. Yeah.
But
she has some good side character stuff.
She did, yeah. I mean, she's not gonna carry the conversation, but she can intervene.
All right. Actually, you know what? Maybe I'll just say it now. She uses her hair as floss again.
Yep.
At the first night dinner, the night where Gary and Ashley hooked up. Yeah. And I don't know if we have any dental professionals listening, but is that better than doing nothing? Maybe, right? I don't know for sure.
I don't know. It's probably fine.
Because you're still getting the stuff between your teeth.
Yeah. And like, I don't think your hair is dirty.
Yeah. It's actually, maybe that's kind of smart if she doesn't have floss. I mean,
like, we're not pro using your hair, but
yeah. If you're on a desert island, maybe Kelsey's got a point. But then later in the episode, and this is very nice of her, before dinner at the villa, Daisy mentions she forgot to bring a toothbrush, and Kelsey lets her borrow her toothbrush. I don't kind of against that borrowing of toothbrushes, but you know.
Well, as long as she didn't offer to borrow floss, that ended up being Kelsey's hair.
Yeah, that'd be tough too.
I feel like the Yachty life is just like, it is. I feel like it's sharing of personal items because like they're probably, a lot of them probably, grew up traveling in Europe, and it's just like, at some point or another, somebody needed a toothbrush, and they're like, whatever.
Yeah. I guess you just throw boiling water on it. You're good.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like the worst thing in the world. Sean, anything else on dinner before I got a couple things?
Oh
But
no,
I will say that villa looked pretty damn sweet.
I did. Yeah.
For a day villa. And then so Sean, let's talk about the cab ride back. So we've got the power three in one cab. So we've got Gary, Colin, Daisy, and Gary drunkenly is like, "Oh, Daisy, you should confront Gabby tonight. Go over this." And Colin is just like, "You know what? That's awful advice, but I'm into it for the entertainment value."
Yeah. Yeah.
Colin is both now. Now Sean, you said Colin's a glue guy. He seems like the glue guy, but he's also stirring the hell out of this pot, man. He's both, and you gotta take him for what he is. I'm not even sure he really has a girlfriend, or he just doesn't want to get into the drama and just wants to be on the side. So always says he has a girlfriend, at least this season. And I'm glad he's on the show, but I can see a couple people get frustrated with him, where they think like he's just trying to stir the pot. But isn't that kind of what we're there for?
I think it is, and that's why I believe in the show, regardless of getting two new people, just because you get the structure already in place. Yeah, I like the Daisy's like why is this my job? Right. It's like I'm the chief stew of the boat, not of like Nights Out.
Well, yeah. So it's one of these things where it's not really affecting. It's not overly affecting the work, but it is definitely affecting the like overall makeup of the crew and like what's going on. So like, yes, maybe when they're on charter, there's not a real impact, which I don't really think there has been a real impact because of these rifts.
No, yeah, no.
However, when they're going out, all this stuff is happening. And yes, at some point, because it's systemic, it's going to spill over into now, hey, now we're on charter and Marcos can't talk to Gabby or vice versa. And so, I think Gabby's just sick of it. She really is. She's sick of them fighting over Gary. She's sick of everybody just fighting. She's like, she even said it. She's like, no one get in the way of a good time. And that's what half the crew decided to do tonight.
No. Then also back in the boat, and Daisy's done with Gabby. I think Gabby asked Daisy like, "Hey, are we all going upstairs?" And Daisy's just like, "I don't know where everyone is," and walks away.
Yeah.
So we haven't really seen Daisy like that before. That was very interesting. But then Gabby also joins Colin and Ashley while they're talking, and it's really awkward.
It's so weird. So clearly they're talking about her, and she just comes over, and then she's so weird too. She's like, "Colin, can you go get us a beer? Like, you don't want to drink alone." It's like, what? I didn't understand that. I didn't know if she was trying to get like one-on-one time with Ashley or what, but it seemed like a weird thing to do. And I think Gabby was just kind of, she wasn't in the right headspace at that point,
No, I know, like, look, she feels isolated and she doesn't really fit in with the group. I get that. I'm sure we've all felt that way before in life. But her way of like, she like overcompensates by being a weirdo, or like trying to be like really sarcastic or funny, or I don't even know what she's doing. And Colin's like, "We all have beer, or we all have drinks. What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
Like, and basically, then she walks away, and then Colin and Ashley are like, "All right, we have to go to bed, otherwise she'll come back."
Yeah, I think Colin's out on Gabby too, which could be a barometer, right? So, let's fast forward to the next day. Gabby's talking to, does Gabby talk to Daisy and then the captain, or goes right, or no, Daisy talks to the captain.
Yes.
And then Gabby talks to the captain, right?
Yes. And I thought it was interesting that like Daisy's like change of heart, like, "Hey, yeah, I probably shouldn't have my second stew and chef not be able to communicate. Like that could be an issue, so I should say something."
Yep. Which I think a sober Daisy was always going to get to that conclusion. But Gabby ends up going to the captain and says, "Hey, I'm not in the right headspace for this. I'm not happy here. and she just says she's got to leave. It's a personal call, which, like, I feel like Gabby seemed like a pretty happy person to start. I think some personality conflicts, and also, she got triggered by probably some things that, at least the editing that we're seeing, she probably didn't have to get overly triggered by, but like, alcohol got the best of her sometimes. And
Yeah.
you know what, maybe it sounds like she just wasn't in the right headspace to be the person she wanted to be. And at the end of the day, that's probably the right call. Get yourself out of that environment. It's a weird ending to the episode, but kind of is what it is.
Yeah, there's some stuff going around online about, like, she had a problem with a producer on the show,
Okay.
but I can't, like, it's off the record stuff, and I got journalistic integrity, so I will
You
not.
do. You
Nothing,
got a ton of it.
nothing I can report on that. So I think, maybe she's saying, like, I don't know, she doesn't like how she's coming off, and she's saying this stuff or
Yeah.
leaking this stuff to people. I have no idea. I don't know, if you don't get along with the people on the boat, then I get, like, and if you live there, it's gonna suck.
They're your family for 6 weeks or whatever it is. And I also think, like, there's also another aspect that, like, we know is going on, but the thought of just, like, being in front of a camera 24/7, like, that has to be one of those things. When you're sober, it impacts how you act, but when you're drunk, it necessarily doesn't change how you act. And then you just kind of, like, look back at what you did, and you, like, either regret it or not. And I'm not saying that this applies to Gabby. I think this just applies to, like, what everybody kind of thinks in the back of their head when they're on this show.
John, you mentioned, like, being on camera. I had a bachelor party this weekend, and my friend took a video of everyone dancing. And I gotta tell you, it's kind of humbling watching yourself dancing while you're drunk. Like, the next day, you're like, oh, that's what I look like.
Yeah.
So I get where she's coming from. Like, yeah.
It's like, there had to be an episode of Always Sunny where they like do something drunk and they think it looks awesome, and then they, like, look back and it looks terrible, right? Like, that's like a classic Always Sunny. But yeah, no, it's one of those things where you went out, you drank, you started dancing, you thought it looked awesome, and then, like, granted, like, you and 8 people are going to see it on Instagram versus 50,000 versus, like, what does this thing get? 1 million viewers an episode?
More than that, because most people watch it, like, on demand and stuff.
And those don't count for.
I think they count them.
Yeah. Okay. Because, like, the Nielsen rating always comes out, like, the next day, and, like, this one's hovering around, like, 1 million. Not this episode, this season. I think they're like,
right.
So, like, that's additional pressure, and then, like, you, like, do something dumb, then instantly regret it,
And yeah, and then just being a weirdo at dinner, like, that's even more cringeworthy to watch.
That was weird.
So I mean, Glenn's super nice to her about it.
Yeah, because I think it got to the point where it never got to the point where it was affecting her work. It was just, yeah, you're a good stew, and seems like there's some personality issues here, and I think it's a little easier to stomach her leaving, considering she had conflicts with Ashley and Marcos. It wasn't just Ashley, where we could be like, oh man, maybe we just kick Ashley off and, we keep Gabby. But, she had conflicts with multiple people. So at this point, I think it's probably best for her that she left.
Yeah.
The show's going to be weird because we're going to be down 2 people. And I don't know when, these new crews are going to come on. I know there's quarantine and everything. So be interesting to see what happens here.
Yeah, we should know, when Gabby leaves, Ashley is not above dancing on graves. She's like, I've got the bottom buck now. We all get a bigger tip. And John, man, did Ashley win? Is she second stew now?
Yes. So even if someone comes on with more experience, I think Ashley's just second stew by default now.
Yeah.
Like, she knows the boat. She knows how things are done. She knows how how Daisy wants it. And so she's probably gonna be second stew now. So Gabby's or Ashley's been